Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Blancpain Sprint Series, and happy Australia Day to all the Aussies out there watching our broadcast. And what a better way to celebrate Australia Day than go to the mecca of Australian motorsport, and that is Mount Panorama. And Brenton, it looks like Riley's out there in the McLaren at the moment, seated first again.
Well, yeah, g'day Bernie, g'day all. Happy Australia Day to everyone. It's been a really fantastic day, and like you said, Bernie, here at really the home of Australian motorsport at Bathurst, and what a race. And just having a look on Joel Real Timing, the strength of field, and this is what it's all about, that's why we're having this race at this time. The strength of field is 3,637. This is a very, very strong field we've got tonight.
It certainly is, and we had 77 drivers line up for tonight's strength of field race. 3 splits. We're of course covering the top split. The guys are out there at the moment, just starting their qualifying, and they'll probably get, I don't know, maybe 2 laps in.
Yeah, well, that's the maximum. They only get 2 laps, so you can't afford to make a mistake because you won't get time to get out there and do another one. I've got to say, in the meantime, Bernie, that the new intro video was fantastic by Daniel Poulton, so no doubt thanks to him for that great work. It was a great little bit of work there.
Yeah, it's an awesome intro, and a big shout out to Poulton Films for doing that, and Daniel, he does a fantastic job. So if you ever need any work done in that area, send him a PM over iRacing. I'm sure he'd be able to help you guys out.
Yeah, he's a young fella just starting off, trying to, from what I understand, I don't really know that much about it, but from what I understand he's just trying to start off, so no doubt he's keen to keep getting more and more out there to spread the name. But like you said, Riley Preston, carrying the number 1 plate, driving the McLaren MP4 12C, has got pole so far, but it's only the 1 lap down, the times will come down.
Yeah, and we just had one of the McLarens go around at Griffin's Bend, so he'll have to go back to pits and start his run again. Josh Anderson just set a fast time, 2:01.400. How crazy is that time?
4 1,000ths of a second quicker than Riley Preston, so this is what we're talking about. The field is so strong. We've got 24, I'm just going to say Australia's best, but we're covering the world. We've got the Germans, the Canadians, Central Europe, Iberia, France. The Poms are here, of course, on Australia Day. But what a strong field. Nicky Tim is here. He's a naturally quick driver as well, has had good results as the week goes on, but it's a really even balanced BOP, get it right in a second, with the different cars. I think maybe the BMW is probably not going to be as competitive, but the Audis are super quick over the top, the Mercedes are super quick down the bottom and going back up, and the McLaren's a pretty good all-round car, so it's going to be really interesting as Preston goes to the top with a 2:09.21, so he's beaten that 1 second barrier.
And he's the only car in the 2 minutes at the moment. We can see Josh Anderson now coming across the top of the mountain. Has he got anything he can answer for Riley Preston here? John Peasnick just jumped up 2 seconds with the 2:09.52, and Andrew Carl
3/100ths of a second off of it. And a 9.21 to a 9.51. This is sensational.
And Andrew Carl's just jumped up into third with a 2:01.089. Now we're watching Josh Anderson. What do you reckon, Brenton? Do you think he's got anything left in that tank to get pole tonight?
Yep, I do, because the second lap's always faster. Whether it's half a second faster, I'm not so sure. Josh Rogers has just finished his lap with a 4.34, which will be 5th. There's still going to be some times coming in. We've got only 45 seconds to go. All-Star Motorsports, Josh Anderson crosses the strike now. Is it improvement? A 1.56, so he went up 2.5 tenths. But look at that, Bernie. That is some outstanding qualifying. And we do have to go through the weather because it is significantly cold here. This is the coldest it's been all week. It's overcast. It's 25-degree track temp. So the cars are going to probably... The tyres won't be an issue, but we're thinking probably a 20-lap race. But with this tyre temperature starting off pretty cold, but once they get up and going, they'll be all right. Maybe they might sneak in 21 laps.
Yeah, well, a 40-minute timed race around here. Oh, as Josh Rogers puts it into the fence, so that ends his run.
Yeah, I don't think Josh would have got his second lap in anyway. There goes time now, so he wouldn't have finished anyway. So he remains in 5th position. But have a look at that for a grid, Bernie. That is outstanding, and I'll let you go through it.
Certainly is. So Riley Preston takes pole position. What's that, 0.003 of a second over John Peasnick in second. Andrew Carl takes third for the start tonight. Josh Anderson will start out of fourth. Josh Rogers, well, he sits down there in fifth position as Bernie hits a wrong button. Timothy Jackson will start out of sixth tonight. Nicky Thim out of seventh. Keep an eye on him tonight. Blake Neck out of eighth. Corey Preston will start out of ninth, and rounding out your top 10 at this stage is Andrzej Sekzek. I hope I got that right.
I'm sure you did. Adam Zeitinger, Paul Mansell, Sebastian Dunkel, who's done a fair bit of running this week. Probably been down on pace. He'd probably be disappointed with his week so far. Carlos Riera, Mads Grabson, Richard Brookfield, good to see him up there in the car 17. Paul O'Brien, no relation, 17th. Renee Pencray, 18th. Mick Hammond in 19th position, a 203, a 881. And Philip Malinowski will round out the top 20 with a 2-minute 4.135.
Out of 21st will be Curtis Chipaway. 22nd, Nejtun Cameron, followed by Nahum Solar out of 23rd. Adrian Gilardelli will start out of 24th. And out of 25th is Frederick, we'll call him Frederick. Spartalini. Okay, we've got that. And then rounding out your field of 26 is Darren McKenzie.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong grid, isn't it? And it's great to see. The Aussies are more than very competitive. In fact, the top 6 positions belong to the Aussie Ford Nicky Tim, world-renowned driver in real life. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, Bernie, you may or may not know. Is Nicky Tim the fastest person ever around Nordschleife? He might be in the GT3. Don't quote me on that. Someone hopefully might be able to correct me, but I know he's got a very impressive calibre when it comes to real-life driving.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't ask me, I wouldn't know, but we're coming down for the start here at Mount Panorama, folks. 40 minutes of awesome racing. I almost said mayhem, but we don't want that. So Riley Preston will have control of the field once the safety car goes in, and John Peasnick, he'll start on the outside.
There's a bit of Noah's Ark, isn't it? 2 McLarens, 2 Audis, 2 Mercedes-Benz. Looking forward to this action. Pace car is off. They'll be turning around the last turn shortly, and away they go.
So as they come down to Hell Corner for the first time, keep an eye to make sure everyone gets through. But Riley Preston, there's a bit of a touch there. Peasnick and Riley got together, but they both continue on.
Yeah, and John's just I don't know how these guys do it. They must be, unless it's a default button. Peasnick's already typed in the word sorry, but those McLarens are looking really, really sharp. Whether they can hang on to their tyres or not, I don't know. In the background, you've got Josh Rogers. Is he going to make a move on Andrew Carl? No, he won't get through. And I will say in the meantime that the TTLR, which is not this team, this is TTL, had good success last week at the Nürburgring. Actually won the Saturday night race, I think it was, the Saturday night race in the last round of the Pro Quality Series. So well done to Josh and Josh Burden, I think it was. So they had a great result, and that has locked them in to qualify for the World Championship. We had 2 teams qualify for the World Championship. No doubt we'll talk about that later, but it's a great opening lap so far.
It certainly is. As we go across the mountain for the first time, we've got Riley Preston first, Peasnick second. We've got Anderson putting the pressure on, and here comes Andrew Carl. He's dropped 1 position, but he's in 4th and looking strong in that Audi.
Yeah, he is. What a quality field we've got. These are Australia's best GT3 drivers right here, right now. You're probably missing a couple that I would think: Simon Feigl, Richard Hampstead, maybe John Stevens, is it Stevenson from Mad Cow? But these are the best of the Australian drivers right here, and they're putting on a real show. These McLarens are really lighting it up, aren't they, with Riley Preston and John Peasnick as into the chase?
They certainly are, and I've noticed tonight Peasnick's forgotten about the Ford GT and jumped in that McLaren. He was in a Ford GT last week, wasn't he?
Yes, mate. Yep. I don't think the Ford GT is that competitive here, so John's, I'm not going to say he's very versatile. he's fairly versatile. I'd love to see him every once in a while just dabble his feet in the water with the Audi or the Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, it would be great if he could be a bit more versatile and get at that. But the guy is an absolute weapon in that Ford GT generally. Unfortunately, they did miss out on the Pro Qual. They didn't have the strongest of races and a few incidents in their 2 races that they had last week. But moving forward to what we've got here and now, and this is a great race. And the Audi of Josh Anderson has not in any way let go. And Andrew Carl. Now, don't forget, Bernie, they will have to stop. It'll be about 20, maybe 21 lap race. It's a pretty good field, isn't it? Again, no tyres. Hopefully they've all turned their tyres off. Probably about 31, 32 litres of fuel. So a light tank does do a lot of here. So you can probably get to about lap 12, maybe stretch to 13. It makes a significant difference.
Yeah, the longer they can make that run, the shorter the stop, no doubt. But the first lap has been great. There's been no retirement so far, but I will say Adrian Galadelli, he's a fair ways down, 14 seconds, but Frederick Spadolini, he was down about half a lap going over the mountain for the first time.
Yeah, I think he had a bit of an incident in that Ford GT. I don't think there looked like much in it, just got turned around. But he's been able to, I won't say he hasn't been out of the race, but he did start down in 25th, dropped that 1 spot now. But the field, the top 17 are covered by less than 10 seconds. Andrew Carl is looking very racing. I've been sitting on board the last half a lap with him, and he is already into fuel saving mode. So he's just sitting very comfortably here behind the Audi and the, well, I'm not going to say the 2 McLarens, because Riley Preston, unfortunately, I think iRacing will probably hopefully make change, but Riley Preston at the moment is the only Black Stripe Pro driver officially due to his Formula 1 commitments. But I'm hoping, I really do hope, those who have stayed up to do the Pro Quali will actually earn their who have earned their Pro licenses will get their much deserved Black Stripe. But that's a matter between iRacing and that those members of the community, but hopefully there's some movement there for them.
Yeah, I think they release it at a certain date every month, don't they? The updates to the license system.
No, they weren't actually going to be giving licenses to the GT3 drivers for reasons I didn't go that deep into. But there has been a little bit of a movement in the background. I think Donald Trump's pushing it. It's one of his new things that he's introduced. So I think it still may happen, was the wording.
Yeah, I think the words exactly were, if they do it, it's great for the American worker.
Yeah, make America bueno again.
That's it. I hope we're not offending any Americans if you're tuning in, folks, but,
Oh, no, it is what it is. That's why they have a voting system there, Bernie. He won the election. Good luck to him as far as I'm concerned. This is the Australian GT section that we're looking at now, and I can guarantee you those in the White House, hopefully one or two might be watching. I severely doubt it. That's not going to have any influence on this.
Yeah, certainly won't. And Andrew Carl there, we're riding with him across the top of the mountain. He's got a little bit of an internet connection issue, but nothing too bad. Josh Rogers, though, he's hanging on the back, and he's not letting him go yet. Timothy Jackson, he is dropping off a little bit, but he's still within striking distance. Keep an eye, though. Nicky Thim is 7th at this stage.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of dramas at the top here. Oh, yeah. We've lost a lot of the field here, Bernie. If we can go back, Nahum Sola was an innocent party there in that Ford GT, but I think also we may have lost our first driver, Mads Gravson. Looks like over the top of McPhillamy, car 21. Oh, so Reed Park. It's quite a common thing. He's hit the outside of Reed Park, hasn't been able to pull it up, and taken at least 3 or 4. Who's he taken? The 8. Which is Curtis Chipaway, the 17, which was, who is 17? Richard Brookfield. So, yeah, that's a complete disaster for those guys there, and that will be the end of their race.
Yeah, we're just looking at the super slow-mo here. It looked like he was going to hang on to it, but then he's come straight across the track, and, wow, that's a heavy hit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm just wondering if he might have had some steering damage. I thought he'd be able to pull that up, but I guess once he's hit the grass, up and away he goes. I'm going to give a bit of a shout out here too, Bernie, to the car number 12, the performance racing car of Adam Zeitinger. Yep, he is no longer Evolution Racing Australia. He's gone over to join his best mate Sean Thompson at that team. We wish him all the best. Champion bloke, this guy, Adam Zeitinger, and great to see him in the GT3, the GTI sponsored GT3, and putting in a good showing here. Car number 12 up into 11th place. I always look at it as more of a golf thing. He's 1 under par. Oh, Riley Preston has got a problem. I reckon he's cooked. What has Riley done here?
I don't know. We'll jump back on the replay though.
Gone back? What's happened to Riley?
We're going to jump right back here and see exactly what's going on with him. This is strange, isn't it?
I don't know what's going on with him, but I'll have a look as well.
Oh, he's hit the wall coming across McPhillamy.
Yep, that will do it. And that will do it. That will be cooked. Has he... No, he's clipped the outside at Reed Park, just like grabs it, and his steering's done. You can see his steering's a bit all over the place, and he's got to go down the mountain. He's not going to hold everybody up. That is really, really unlucky for Riley's putting it down the straight now. He's way down, down in last place. And I always find that when it comes to steering, like the car doesn't look that bent up, but when it comes to steering damage, that will take pretty much just a little bit longer than forever to fix. So unfortunate for Riley. I'm not going to say he had the race in the bag, because he didn't, but he was looking more than a competitive out the front. But it's been burnt now, and that Evolution Racing Australia McLaren is going to be toast.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what presence of mind he had to pull it over where he did. Yeah. A lot of drivers could have tried to get it down the mountain in front of this field, and it would have been disastrous. John Peasnick, he nearly lost it then, coming up through the cutting. He had a bit of a slide going, but he's corrected it, and he's going to have to keep an eye on Josh Anderson, because I reckon Josh Anderson can smell something here, and it's probably victory if he can put the blowtorch on Peasnick.
Well, that McLaren just blows so much flames out the back of the rear exhaust. He's going to be burning something, isn't he? A bit of carbon fibre. I keep hearing cars hitting the wall, but I'm not sure whether it's just a connection or not. Probably thinking it is, because all the cars do look pretty clean, don't they? But over the start-finish line last lap, taking Riley out, because he probably had about a second and a half lead, but the top six, we'll go there, are covered by less than 2.2 seconds. So this is anyone's race. Andrew Carl looks like he's got a bit of damage to the back wing. I'm not sure if that will fix up a Netco thing. Josh Rogers is just... Well, things with Josh, he only got 1 lap in for qualifying, so he probably didn't show his true hand there, did he? So, Josh Rogers is looking pretty as well. Tim Jackson, this is the car 11th, now up to 5th place, has got Nicky Tim and Corey Preston in the Torque team now, it looks like, in the Mercedes. It's unusual to see Corey out of his PMSR colours, I think, so it looks like he's racing for Torque there.
Yeah, he's definitely carrying the Torque colours there in the Mercedes, so maybe he's switched teams, but at the moment, Nicky Tim, he's up to 6th. He's trying...
Peasnick. Sorry, just to interrupt there, but as Peasnick exited hell, he cuts bloody Josh Rogers in half. Peasnick just got really wide and lit up the rears, just got no drive out of the exit of Hale Corner, and Rogers and Peasnick be holding on. You're not going to be able to stay there, John, and live through there, and Rogers through to 3rd. Your man, you called it, Bernie, that's why you're the professional here. Josh Anderson now takes over that lead. Andrew Carl still has that broken back wing. That's going to play a bit of a difference. He's now holding 2nd, Rogers up to 3rd.
I'll tell you what, Peasnick's also vulnerable here as he tries to get his momentum, because Jackson's right on the back of him, and I think he can smell opportunity as well.
Yeah, he can, and I wonder if with behind Anderson whether the train's going to be a little bit quicker. I think I said with Peasnick, maybe those tyres... I would doubt the tyres would struggle after 6 laps in this weather conditions. I really would, but he has dropped off, hasn't he? And the 2 Audis and the Mercedes are up and away. It's great, and you know what? All represented by 3 different teams too. All Stars Motorsport. They don't get much of a mention, but here they are out the front of the main strength of field race in Australia, in Australian time anyway. We're talking about a strength of field. What did I say? 3.8, 3.6? Can't remember. It's strong, and at the moment, Josh Anderson, the car number 6, is leading that.
And we're just riding with Timothy Jackson as we came down the mountain. He's clipped the wall. He's survived to live another day. He has put a dent in the side of that beautifully presented Mercedes though, but it doesn't look like it's affecting the handling or anything.
No, it must have been a light clip, because little bit of damage, but the MS Limited Edition ERA car's got Nicky Tim all over the back of him, and Jacko's just got to keep his head here. No doubt he'll do a good job. He's done a few races this week and picked up a win. Certainly picked up a top 2 spot in a really strong soft race, but Peasnick certainly has recovered and he's starting to work his way back into these top 3 who aren't getting away. I would say Andrew Carl's got problems here with Josh Rogers all over the back of him, whether Rogers wants to make a move or whether he wants to sit here. At the moment, you've got these 2 guys, Andrew Carl and Josh Rogers, are 2 of Australia's new pro drivers. It's fantastic to say Australian pro drivers, isn't it? And there's 2 of the best right there.
Oh, it certainly is. It's awesome to be able to say Australian pro drivers, and it's well deserved too. But I tell you what, Peasnick, he is losing touch with these 3, and I think he's struggling out there in that McLaren.
Yeah, he is. Just 2 seconds. Yes, Bernie can just take 2 seconds now.
Yeah, no worries. So at the moment, folks, your top 5, we've got Josh Anderson leading, followed by Andrew Carl, looking really strong on the Logitech Audi. Keep an eye on Josh Rogers, though. He's in 3rd in the Mercedes, and then we have Peasnick in the McLaren, and finally Timothy Jackson rounds out your top 5. But it's great to see we've got 3 different marks in the top 5. But one thing there isn't is a BMW. Having a look at our retirement, we have lost Nahum Solar. Has retired from tonight, and so did Mads Gravson, and they both retired, of course, after that big hit across the top of the mountain, lap 2 I think it was.
Sorry Bernie, I'm back. Just had a message. I had to stem with Isaac Price straight away. Good friend Isaac, good friend of iRacing, and good friend of ERA, so you had to clear that up quickly. But you're right, it's fantastic to have the different marks. There is no BMW racing. The BMW is going to be pretty uncompetitive around here, those straight lines. It's really just a brick on wheels when it comes to the aero. But they'll improve that car. I know teams like Mad Cow suffered quite badly in the Qual Series choosing the Bimmer, but at the moment, the Audi is so dead quick over the top. It's exhilarating to drive. It's just, I don't know if you've ever driven it, Bernie, but every time you take a corner, it feels like death's just around the corner. Whereas the Mercedes, to me, just if you get the setup right, and I think the rear wings are a very important part of that. If you can get that setup right in the Merc, it's just a dream to drive. It really is, and you've got so much grunt down the straights, and I think Riley's got the I think Josh Rogers, there we go, has got the pace of these guys. The fact that Peasnick's made some ground, it's just a matter of whether he can draw that extra lap out or not. And I know he has his usual spotter hanging on to him right now, Jake Maloney, so hopefully Jake's watching this. If you can get Josh to hang on for that extra lap with the light fuel, it does make a big difference.
It certainly does. We saw that last week, didn't we, with the slipstream made, about 1 second, 1.2 seconds faster?
Yep, and that was at Nürburgring. Look what it will do here at Bathurst down Long Conrod Straight, even pitch straight up Mountain Straight. It's significant. And the top 4, I'm not going to say they're racing away, because like you said, Jim Jackson had that little slip of the wall, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. In fact, his last lap time, Benny, a 2-minute 1.672. That's some amazing lap times by these guys. Anderson at 201.5, 0.5 for Andrew Carl, a 0.455 for Josh, and a 0.5. So the 4 leaders are all going within 5/100ths of a second of each other. Jackson just that 1/10 off. Nicky Tim at 201.8, probably held up a little bit, it has to be said, in particular areas. And Corey Preston, look, I'm not a Corey fan, I'm not going to pretend I am, but he's done a really good job hanging on here. He doesn't normally drive the GT3, and hanging on there in 7th place. 201.6 for Corey, so hats off him. And to be fair, it is great to see him step outside of his comfort zone. Like, he does drive mainly the V8s, and he'll say that himself, and he does a good job. But it's great to see him in the GT3s, in the Torque Racing there.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think with the way the GT3s are going, it's hopefully we'll see more V8 supercar drivers jump over this and have a crack, and vice versa. But I tell you what, Timothy Jackson's doing a fantastic job here defending against Nicky Tim, and he's keeping him at bay, and Nicky doesn't have much in the way of knowing how to get past him at this point.
It's just the grunt of the Merc down the straight, isn't it? And if that Merc can get a good exit out of Forest Elbow, the Audi's not going to go through it into the chase. But it's up to pit stops. I think Jacko's pretty good at saving fuel too. If I was going to suggest anyone could go that one lap longer, it would probably be him. But by saying that, these guys haven't done this track temperature before. They're going to be burning a lot more fuel in this 25-degree track temp. So I'm thinking probably about lap 12 they'll come in. They need to take about 8 laps, maybe touch on 9 laps worth of fuel, about 31 to 34 litres they'll need to take. Looks like we've got a bit of an incident here with Paul Mansell over the top. Yeah, we do. Up at Skyline. What's happened there? So he's come around McPhillamy. Oh, hang on, this is going to hurt. I can see pain coming. Andre Sejak has lost it by himself, has he? Yep, at McPhillamy. Yeah, that's not the most uncommon spot in the world. Just clips the wall, parks it. Oh, no, he doesn't. And he's actually taken Mansell on the way through. Yeah, look, no one likes to see that, but I'm sure there was nothing intentional there by Andre. I think he...
Yeah, we're just seeing the super slow-mo here. Andre Sejak getting it all wrong across the top of the mountain. And keep an eye on Paul Mansell because he's going to arrive any moment. And hold on to your seats because we know the outcome.
Pain coming. Yeah, so it's a common thing, isn't it? But I don't think Andre was, if anything, he was probably a bit keen to get off the track. If he stayed still a bit longer, I guess you could drive around, but he was in a difficult position. So whilst it's not the ideal outcome, it's to a point you can almost understand it because of his position. But but up the front, this race is still going on, and Josh Rogers is still hanging on to the back of Andrew Carl. I tell you what, and you called it earlier, like I said, Josh Anderson is looking comfortable. It's one of these races, I don't know about you, Bernie, but not that I win many races, let's be honest, but you do talk to those guys who do, and there's some guys that when they're in the front, they don't care. They're good leaders of a race. Oh, hang on, there's someone else having a problem. Darren McKenzie's having a problem. Who have we got here? I'm not sure what's happened here. Oh no, Mackenzie's just lost it by himself on the exit of the chase, unless something's happened earlier where he's had some steering problems.
Yeah, we've got the replay now as he's coming into the chase, and we'll just see what's happened here.
Oh, he's lost it by himself initially over the top of Skyline, which has probably caused him some steering issues. And who else is that? I think that's Netch and Cameron who lost it also at Skyline, so they've taken a piece of each other. And Renee Pinkway, who's recovering very well, has to be said, up into 19th place after the early dramas that he had in the Mercedes-Benz there. He was an innocent party. He got tagged a little bit, certainly not too significant. He's now up in the 17th.
So we are on lap 10 now, folks. We're not too far away from pit stops, but at the moment Josh Anderson's leading. Andrew Carl's not going to let him go though, and I think this is going to go right down to the wire. Josh Rogers, he's dropping off a little bit, and he's got Piesenik behind him now. Timothy Jackson, well, he's still holding off Nicky Tim, and that's pretty much your top 6 at the moment.
I'm loving watching this top 3 especially, aren't we? And Anderson, Andrew Carl and Josh Rogers, and Piesenik's not going anywhere. Let's not forget that Piesenik was leading this race for a little while, and before that was Riley Preston. It's whether the tyres hang in there for the McLaren. Like I said, 25-degree track temp, 20 laps. I can't see them going away too much. But the Mercedes is generally known to be the best on the tyres, but Bathurst isn't a high tyre wear track anyway, so I think we can almost disregard the tyres. It's how much fuel they'll be taking. Whether you want to take that, I don't know if it's a punt to say, look, it's going to be 8 extra laps to lap 20, but with the speed that these guys are going, they might be able to get to 21 laps, and if they can do that, you don't have enough fuel. There's going to be a lot of guys who are wishing that they were in a Prius in the last lap.
Well, we saw a couple of Mercedes last week, didn't we? Run out of fuel at the same time on the last corner of the last lap, so it is definitely possible.
Yeah, it's really weird. I've got to admit, that is a bit bizarre, and And I know there were some thinking that take 31 litres at the pit stop. Matter of fact, the boys on the actual race server were talking about how much to take in. Andrew Carl is pitting earliest of the top 4. This will be interesting. What his pit entry is like. It's pretty clean. You can really attack the pit entry here, can't you? So the ERA Logitech G Audi has entered the pits. Is that Nicky Tim behind him as well? Yes, it is. So he's been released here from Tim Jackson. Let's see what these guys can do for a stop. I would think, don't quote me, Bernie, but I think pit lane all up will be about 28 seconds, maybe 31 seconds. Not sure, but it'll be won't be far off around then. As I think it goes through on Andrew Carl. So I'm just watching. Carl is away. Tim is away. There doesn't look like anything's changed there. The most significant thing is that they've had a clear track. And, yep, Nicky Tim's got a clear track as well. So back to the leaders. And actually, has Corey Preston had a pit stop already as well? I better check that. I'm thinking he may have.
Yes, he has.
So Corey's had a pit stop as well. So he's pitted the earliest out of all of them. That could work. Hopefully for him it will.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good strategy there for Nicky Tim to come in. He's going to hope he can jump Timothy Jackson, who's sitting in 4th position at this stage. The actual pit stop times, not including entry or exit, Andrew Carl's the quickest, 11.2 seconds. Nicky Tim, 12.7 seconds, and Corey Preston, 13.9 seconds.
Yep, and you'll see Anderson and co coming in. You've got Sebastian Dunkel driving a very, very slow Ford GT3 at the moment. I'm not sure which corner's crooked the most, but he looks like he's whacked 2 walls at 2 different times. I'll tell you what, is he going to pull him up here? He is pretty slow in the chase, and I hope he doesn't get in their way. He does his best to get out of the way. I'm actually quite surprised how much Rogers has dropped off of Anderson here. Whether Rogers is thinking, I've got point something of a lap left. No, he hasn't, and the 3 of them pit at once here. I am surprised how much Rogers did drop off the back of Anderson. And who's that spun on the last turn there? Curtis Chipaway has had a spin in the car number 8. Yeah, so that was a bit off-putting for the guys. I'm just wondering whether Curtis might have tried to do a pit entry and missed it, and whether he's going to make it around the extra lap or not. So the top 3 all pit, bang, 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 all over the row, as does 4th place Tim Jackson. You can keep your eye on that if you want, mate, because I'm going to be looking at Andrew Carl, who's already going down the straight and is crossing the start-finish line now. I would be pretty confident that Tim has got Jacko and...
Here comes Peasnick.
John Peasnick.
Peasnick
has taken all of them.
Yeah, he's just jumped them all. 11.2 seconds was his stop, the same as Andrew Carl. What a strategy from 4th up to 1st for Peasnick.
Well, gee, now I'll tell you what, this is rearranging the chairs on the Titanic, isn't it? As Peasnick goes a little bit wide, makes him a bit vulnerable. It's not the type of place you can pass up here. Just ask Marcus Ambrose and Greg Murphy. But isn't it amazing? Peasnick's gone from 4th to 1st. Carl has stayed in 2nd, Rogers has stayed in 3rd, but Anderson has gone from 1st to 4th. Now, none of them took tyres, and look who's in the background all of a sudden. Nicky Tim has made significant ground on them, and gee, I wonder if he's going to make this a 5-car train, really hoping that he can get himself up there. This is the first time he's been released from Tim Jackson, so we'll shortly see what Nicky Tim has got to offer us, and that car is already looking like it's dialed up, the car number 7. And, wow, it's just a great race we've got here.
Certainly is, and I reckon Peasnick might have been, well, he may not have been, but he was sitting back in 4th. He could fuel save for all that time, and he's matched the same time as Andrew Carl. Now, Andrew's starting to get on the back of Peasnick, and we'll see how they go, but Nicky Tim, what a great move pitting when Andrew did, and we've got a number 20.
Oh, there's Payne coming here. Oh, Rogers just drove into the side of Andrew Carl. There's certainly contact there as they enter the chase. Rogers is going to hang in tough around there. Oh, there's a car there. That's going to be off-putting. Yep. Carl's, I'm not sure. I think he's done it himself, though. He looks like he got a bit of damage there. So Carl's down to 4th, under attack from Nicky Tim now. That car, I'm not sure why... who was it? Sebastian Dunkel again. I'm not sure why Sebastian's feeling the need to stay out there with his lap times. 2:27 last lap. Tells me that he should probably put that to bed, but what a change that is. And Josh Rogers looking very, very racy. But what that's also done with those guys battling, John Peasnick is up and away. We have to remember here, Bernie, maybe he didn't put enough fuel in it.
Yeah, well, that could be the case because he is pulling away from these guys, and we'll keep a very close eye on that. Either that or he's been foxing them, but with the level of this field, it'd be pretty hard to fox them. Further back, though, it looks like Nicky Tim just got Andrew Carl, and I tell you what, Carl did a great job saving it through that spin.
Yeah, he's got damage though. You can see it. He's got a bit of damage there, so that car is going to be steering all over the place, just to that front right. It looks like. Not sure there was contact between him and Rogers. Didn't have a clue whether he lost it by himself. Haven't even looked into it, to be honest with you. But certainly a little bit of damage as a result of that spin. Also to the back of the car too. Not sure where that's from, but yeah, Carl's looking pretty cooked because he's also just let Jackson through a ERA teammate. So Jackson moves up another spot. Mind you, he did just lose it to Nicky Tim before. But now the race is certainly on John Peasnick's plate, isn't it? It's Peasnick's to lose from here.
It certainly is, and it looks like Andrew's falling by the wayside like his teammate Riley Preston. We did see the super slow-mo. There was contact between Josh Anderson and Andrew Carl, but I have a feeling there was a big distraction going on by that Ford GT.
Yeah. Oh, look what's happening behind. And, Anderson now. Now, what's happened here? So Rogers has got through. He was already through Anderson. I'm just going to have a look at this as they enter the chase. So Anderson's got a pretty good run here. I'm not sure he can make a dive from back there. Deep. Not hanging on. Rogers clipping the back, but that's certainly a racing incident. That's not Josh's fault. But that now leaves Anderson vulnerable to Nicky Tim. Nicky's probably going to drive straight through him when the time's right. And that's certainly, that's Rogers' lap there. Would be a 2:02.6. And you compare that to a 2:01.9 from Peasnick. Oh, Johnny's loving this. He's had a pretty bad week with the pro qual. But at the moment, he's the star of the show in that Element Motorsports McLaren.
Yeah, it would have been pretty hard for him to just miss out on that pro license or the pro rating, but he has bounced back like a true professional. We've got a car in the fence. It's a McLaren. It looks like one of the back markers.
Yeah, and also notice that Andrew Carl did park that Audi. That's a real shame because after all those pit stops, the action was really on between the top four, wasn't it? But just a bit of drama there in the chase. That slower car just got into Rogers and Carl's lane. Like I said, when you're doing lap times 22 seconds a lap slower than the field, you probably might need to start asking questions. Should you be out there? Yeah,
well, I won't say whether he should or not. He qualified in the top split of the top three, but the talent of this field and the times they are putting out, they are lapping in the 2:01s, which is absolutely madness.
Well, look at Sebastian's time. He's the guy that got him tripped over. The guys are doing 2:01s. Sebastian's doing 2:35, 2:28, 2:27, 2:34, and 2:29. There's nothing to gain from this. I think this is a bit irresponsible by Sebastian. He should be parking that car number 3. Get it fixed. Get back out there.
Yeah, if the car's got damage and it is that badly damaged, you're best to pull it in, take the pain, because I tell you what, if you're limping around this circuit and you cause a big accident, which is we've nearly seen, you're not going to be popular.
Yeah, well, I think that was a contributing factor towards Andrew Carl's downfall, and he's going to hit another. I'm just watching Sebastian now, and he's. It's just a matter of time before we hear something over the radio saying, bugger, I wish you wouldn't do that, and it would be all over. I'm not sure the word bugger would be getting you, so.
Yeah, it'd be a similar word to that, probably a bit shorter, but we'll see how we go. But I tell you what, Josh Rogers, what presence of mind he had when Anderson outbraked himself coming into the chase, and Rogers kept his line as the Audi cut across his nose. A lot of less experienced drivers would have jumped on the brakes and probably would have looped it.
Yep. Josh does a lot of racing, a real lot of racing, and here we go. 2 years maybe doing iRacing now, so I'm not going to say he's new at all because he's not, but he does do a lot of laps. Obviously, extremely quick driver. On his day, will dominate a V8 race. I'm not sure it's his favourite car, but if it's not, then this might be second. He does an outstanding job and has got himself into a pro team in the combo team with TTL, TTR, and ANZ. All got together and created TTRL, and they've got Josh did, I would say a good 85% of the laps, but he's a talent, this boy, and does a good job week in, week out.
He certainly does, and I'm going to call this. We've got 7 minutes to go. I'm going to call it as I see it, right? I reckon Peasnick was foxing these guys earlier on tonight and was just sitting there saving fuel, because all of a sudden he's out 2 seconds, and his last lap, well, he did a 2:02, and Rogers did a 2:01, but he's looking darn strong, and he's got quite a bit of a lead here.
Lap 17, so I'm thinking there's 4 laps to go, and between the top 5 cars, there's less than 5 seconds. Isn't that amazing? After all this time, considering all the dramas that we've had, there is less than 5 seconds. Trying to see who's made the greatest ground. Adrian Gallardelli. I know my Italian's terrible. 24th qualified, has moved himself up to 13th. That's a significant gain, and no doubt with the car number 20, he'll be pretty happy with that. Who else? Nothing else really jumps to mind. Mick Hammond for Laser Racing, 19th to 11th. Again, you would think he'd be pretty happy with that. And I think a lot of the guys, and I look at Corey Preston in the Torque Racing car, I think there's movement for Bathurst 12-hour race coming up shortly, and it's a good chance to get the boys some of the practice in with these GT3s.
It certainly is, and that's just around the corner. And speaking of the Bathurst 12-hour, I'll be up there next weekend. Damn, looking forward to hopefully catching up with a few of the iRacing guys, and of course I'll be at the top of the mountain.
Oh well, you're going to have a sensational time, and from what I understand, Bernie, I know Scotty Stevens and a few of the boys will be there as well, so for anyone out there who's going to be at the Bathurst 12-hour, I have no idea where they camp and where they're staying or anything like that, but I reckon if you get in touch with Scott Stevens, I think you'll have your foot in the door there to meet quite a few fellow iRacers. From what I understand, there's going to be quite a few there, Bernie, so hopefully the boys will have a really good and safe weekend, and I know a few of them went up, was it last year or the year before? Might be the last 2 years, and had a great time there, and all the guys, when they do come back, speak very highly of it. In the background here, in the meantime, Anderson has recovered enough to be right on the back of Josh Rogers, hasn't he? So this is going to keep going down to the wire for these two. We saw Anderson, he might have played his card too early, going into the chase there with that big dive, so Rogers will be, clearly he'll be on to that, and have a look to see if he can try and sustain that move. You would think that the move would be substantially faster down Conrad. Oh, Rogers has driven him onto the grass as they go up Mountain Straight. That was a big hook, probably talking cycling. Then they've gone off, and Rogers did he clip the wall? Let's have a look at that. I'm not sure if he hit the wall or not, but I'll have a look at the replay.
He definitely hit the wall. He's limping up the hill, and that was probably a bit of payback going on there.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, gee, I don't know if it is payback. I don't think Josh Anderson's that type of driver, Bernie, I must admit. But gee whiz, it was the move was on. But I'll tell you what, I'm just watching him up Mountain Straight, and I don't know whether Josh did hook him up Mountain Straight to cause Anderson to go off into the grass. But well, it is what it is now, and Anderson's through into second, and wow. Oh no! Oh, that's ruined it. Oh no, I think Peasnick's lost it by himself. Your replay button's going to be busy because John Peasnick's going to be out of the race. Absolutely, he's gone through into the dipper and lost it sideways, blocked the track. Anderson has collected him, and I reckon Josh Rogers is going to be the biggest benefactor of this, because Anderson's car is in significant pain. Wow.
We're just having a look at the super slow-mo here. What a place to lose it. There's absolutely nowhere to go. And, of course, we've got this great coverage, V8's online.
Oh, no! And now Rogers and Anderson have gone around. Oh, tell you what. It's, Oh, there's going to be some pain here. Just keep your calm head, both you boys, because I don't know what's happened there, but Nicky Tim has taken over the lead. Who would have thought that? What a lap! The initial leader, Peasnick, gone. Anderson collects him. Rogers gets into the side of Anderson. Well, I'm not going to call anyone's fault yet, so don't jump down throats, people. But what a change we've had.
Yeah, we're just picking up this action between Rogers and Anderson here, and this has been pretty much cooking, hasn't it, for the last half lap here, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, it has been brewing, and it's going to brew more. This isn't over. No, it's not. That's it for Anderson now, surely. How much can these cars take? There's going to be discussions between these two teams, because that was... no, if you say anything, people jump down your throats, but that was fairly ambitious, I would think.
Yeah, we're having a look at yet another replay as they come up Mountain Straight. This time Anderson's on the outside, clipped, and it's his turn to hit the wall at Griffins, and that car that must be it for that car.
You can only take so much, can't you? And, wow. Have we had a breath yet? Because who's the biggest benefactor out of this? There's been some massive position changes. Peasnick's back up to third, can you believe? Tim Jackson has gone from 6th to 2nd, but this guy here, Nicky Tim, he is the biggest benefactor. He was sitting at not at the back, he was sitting around 6th position, took that early stop, got past Jackson in the pit stops. Nicky Tim, leader of the race. Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. We did have a look at that touch between Rogers and Anderson in the chase, and basically it looked like Rogers had just caught the ripple strip, which bounced him across into Anderson. But you know, those guys for that last half lap, they were racing for absolute sheep stations.
Yeah, it got a bit. Well, you can see it burning. You called it. You could see it brewing. And it happened. And I don't know what's going on with Nicky Tim, but he looks like his last lap a 2:02.8, and Jackson's a 2:02.1. So there's 7/10 of a second. So this is not over at all.
And we're down to 18 seconds. This should be the last lap, but Tim definitely feels vulnerable because you can see him weaving the car as they came up Mountain Straight for the last time. He also did it down Conrod. He's trying to break that slipstream, and he definitely feels vulnerable at this stage.
Is this why Nicky came out in front of Jackson? Maybe he took one or two less litres of fuel. Maybe he's might have to back out of it. This race isn't over. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take my hat off as well to Blake Neck there in the MPMS Racing Simulators car. I think he's had a bit of early drama, but he's now in the top 5, so there's some significant gains throughout the field, but all eyes right now are on Jackson versus him.
Yeah, and we're riding with Jackson as he comes down the hill in the limited edition Mercedes-Benz for the last time. Has he got it? Can he get Tim? I tell you what, if he does, there's going to be a lot of cheering in the ERA camp tonight.
Oh, mate, to be honest with you, there'll be some cheering anyway, mate. We've had a pretty good week, I must admit, and it's not any worse now because Jackson's carrying the car number 11 plate, and is he going to make a move? Nicky defending. Tell you what, watch the drive out of there. Oh, a bit of a touch, certainly nothing too bad. And I'm thinking that unless Jackson makes a move, which I don't see him needing to do, or whether Nicky cops here, I don't think. Look how Nicky just blocks that move beautifully. Congratulations to Nicky Tim and Tim Jackson. What a race. 1/10 of a second as they go across John Peasnick. Wow, he's had so many dramas, hasn't he? In third place, Preston. Fourth, Blake Neck has done an outstanding job and will pick up 5th. Who's going to get 6th? Adam Zeitinger, will he pick up 6th, thinking that he will? Yep, and that's an outstanding result. Anderson, he recovered that car. He actually did, I thought that was toast, in 7th. So where did Rogers finish? Richard Brookfield. Tell you what, hats off to Richard Brookfield. We haven't spoke about him a lot. He's going to end up in the top 10 there, and that's in 8th place. That's an outstanding drive for him.
Certainly is. Josh Rogers actually retired from the race, so after all that contact, he's had to park that car.
Did he park it, or was it incidents? Because there was a lot of little car contacts there, wouldn't it? It's not normally the track that you get a DSQ. I don't know. We'll no doubt we'll find out about later. The little car contacts. Gee whiz, there was a lot of dramas there, and that was one of the most exciting races that you will see. And fantastic! What a fantastic race! I got to admit, Sebastian Dunkel. Hopefully Sebastian's going to look at this. That's a bit of a letdown there, Sebastian. He's doing laps 25 to 30 seconds slower per lap. And he's got to park that. But talking about the good things, Nicky Tim Jackson, John Peasnick, that's your top three. What a race.
It was a pretty amazing race, wasn't it? And I tell you what, with Riley Preston there retiring early, and then his teammate also having come to grief. And I tell you what, Bathurst has not disappointed. It has claimed some scalps tonight, but it has also put on an awesome race, probably the best I've seen for a long time. And I hope all the viewers loved it out there. We tried to bring you every single bit of action. I think we did pretty well in covering off a lot of that contact in the last couple of laps.
Oh, that was all like 2.5 minutes, didn't it, Bernie? The whole world just went upside down for a while. There were cars everywhere, and Anderson and Rogers. I'm not saying it was anything personal there, but certainly there was certainly a lot of aggression on both sides of the fence. I'm not laying blame to anybody there, but wow. And it all started with Peasnick spinning by himself, collecting Anderson. I thought that was it. I thought Rogers was through for the win, but then Anderson made that ground, caught him up, and it was on like Donkey Kong after that. And what a race! That was just substantially brilliant.
It certainly was, and I reckon there was nothing personal between the guys. I always say it, the temperature rises when you're in that close contact, and after you have a few contacts, it becomes a serious business out there, let's say. But they've probably undone each other. I think they could have been up there for a top two job, but also Peasnick losing it. I tell you what, it was full on. Yeah, but then Anderson collected him. Going into the dipper, and yet Anderson still survives and comes home in 6th.
Yeah, that was mind-blowingly brilliant, that race, and there was action aplenty, wasn't there? And it was all down the field, but when there's 26 cars in a race, you can only click your mouse so quick, can't you, and catch up with all that stuff. So that was awesome, and that's the type of racing. Like, let's face it, the track at Bathurst is brilliant. You could drive a Volkswagen backwards around here and it's still brilliant. It's just the best track on ice racing. But at the same time, these guys, the strength of field was about 3,600 something. These guys bought it tonight. That was a quality field, and the quality drivers just gave us so much entertainment. And the guys who came through, they kept their nose clean. I don't reckon Nicky Tim or Tim Jackson had even a bump on their car. So that was some fantastic racing.
Certainly was. And Nicky Tim, really, I reckon what made that was his pit strategy. Followed Andrew Carl in, jumped Timothy Jackson, and he was able to close in and then defend against fast charging Timothy Jackson in that last couple of laps. But let's go through the full results, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver tonight finished. So well done, Nicky Tim, for winning round 7 of the Blancpain Sprint Series here at Mount Panorama. Very closely followed by Timothy Jackson. 1/10 of a second in second. John Peasnick comes home in third. Don't know how that McLaren survived all that big hit down the dipper, but it did. And third position, Corey Preston, well done to Corey, comes home in 4th. 5th, Blake Neck, followed by Adam Zeitinger in 6th. Josh Anderson comes home in 7th, followed by Richard Brookfield, well done Richard, in 8th. 9th, Carlos Oliver Riera, and rounding out your top 10 is Andre Zerzek. That'll do.
You're all over at Gilardelli him. Came 11th. Malinowski 12th. Mick Hammond, we know that's an Australian name. Paul Mansell, Renee Paniquet, Netchin Cameron, Paul O'Brien was the last year. Well, no, it wasn't last year finished. Paul O'Brien. Josh Rogers, we know, didn't get the finish line, but Sebastian Dunkel did, albeit 30 seconds a lap slower. 2 laps down. Andrew Carl, the rest of DNF, Andrew Carl, Bartolini, Chipaway McKenzie, Riley Preston, we saw what happened to him, Nahum Salah, and Mads Grabson from the McLaren that lost it over the top at McPhillamy, was never able to recover from his wounds, shall we say, and finished 18 laps down.
Yeah, so what an eventful race that was.
That was cool.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
That was really cool. That's the type, like, I don't normally watch a broadcast back, but I'm going to watch that one because that was really cool.
Yeah, I think I might watch it back too because it'll be interesting to see how much of the action we caught. I think we caught a lot of it, but yeah, that was probably the best race I've called for at least a year, I reckon. It's going to go down in the record books. And I tell you what, Brenton, I think I'm going to start putting the little flags on our overlay so we can see where all these drivers are coming from, because we definitely got some Europeans coming in here, and it's fantastic to see, and it's awesome for the Aussie teams to have this strength of field race, which is why we're broadcasting it, to build this up so that the Aussies don't have to stay up till like 1 a.m. to get a really high I rating.
Look, don't get me wrong, I love the V8s. It is my favourite car to drive. Yeah, I love everything about the V8s. But they're very homegrown, you know what I mean? The good Aussie guys, they drive the V8s and they drive them brilliantly. There's no doubt. So I'm not here to say anything bad about the V8s before I get people to jump on me back. However, the GT3s is a true international class. You get a race every 2 hours if you want to. And yeah, this is exactly why we're doing this race, because the Aussie strength of field, you've got to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning to get some big races in. You know, with your help, Bernie. This is why we're doing this. You know, it's such a strong strength of field. There's going to be some chunky points in the official series for those that got good positions, and that's what helps out. And it also for those who, like I said, you got Corey Preston there, who doesn't normally drive in the GT3s. Well, he's driving against different guys in a different car. Sure, it's Bathurst. Corey does well here, but it just gives him a taste of it, doesn't it? And although the Aussies didn't win tonight, they did. Geez, they gave us some entertainment. They really did.
Oh, they certainly did. And, it's great for the Aussies to be up against these guys, because even the guys down midfield, they get that experience, they improve, they have to step up the bar, and it'll make them all better drivers. But as long as we can remove some of those roadblocks to give our Aussie drivers the best opportunity at this level, then I'm all for that. And hopefully all the viewers love it, because I tell you what, they bring on some good racing.
Yeah, like I said, that it's a track where you can pass it, and there's different passing opportunities, and the balance of the cars, take out the BMW, which not even mildly competitive here, and the better you can swap, is that the balance of the field is pretty good. An Audi won, a Mercedes second, and a Ford third. So straight away you cut a good little covering of the field there, haven't you? So that was awesome. I really enjoyed that race. I really did.
Yeah, it certainly was, and what a way to round off Australia Day, folks, and happy Australia Day to everyone out there on this broadcast. As far as RRTV goes and the rest of the week broadcasting, well, I've only really got one broadcast next week. That's Monday night for the Monday Night Light Skip Barber Series, another strength of field race we've been pushing, and another race where we're getting Europeans in. Not quite as many as we've seen tonight, but we do arguably get the fastest skip barber driver in the world, Enzo Cantor. He does make an appearance just about every week and puts in a great job. We were going to broadcast the Australian Online Supercar Championship on Friday night. The news with that is we'll be bringing you the 150k race and the 650k race instead of just the 650k race, so you'll get 2 weeks, a month of that. But I won't be here to broadcast. I'll be on my way to Bathurst to spend my time hunting down Scott Stevens. I'll be staying up there at McPhillamy Park, and I think he's in Reed Park, so watch out, Scott. I'm going to be trying to find who you are.
Wow. As I said to someone the other day who met Ian Ford, make sure you get therapy. And I'll say the same for you, Bernie. I've never met Scotty, but spent many a good time talking to him on TS, and a champion bloke, Scotty Stevens. I won't say a bad word around him. But, make sure you get some therapy ready just in case. So I reckon the boys will, they'll have a good time. I'm just trying to see whether Jacko wants to get on TS. His TS is bung at the moment. He's madly sending me a message, but I'm not sure he'll get on in time, Bernie, because no doubt you're keen to wrap it up, which is fair enough.
Yeah, and I was just going to give a shout out to all the iRacers out there. If you're up at the Bathurst 12 hour and you want to catch up, give me a holler, and I'm more than happy to catch up. I know Scott Stevens has organised an event where all the iRacers are going to get together, and if you don't know about that, contact Scott Stevens. Not sure when it is. Hopefully I'll be up there in time for that. But, of course, they won't give me time off, so I'll be leaving Friday afternoon, driving in Friday night, coming home Sunday night, then back to work on Monday. So it's going to be a big weekend. But we'll just see if Tim Jackson can get in. If not, we will wrap this broadcast up.
I've told him to park it. Just also, viewers, I know it's not a Redback RRTV matter, but the IDA has got their round 2 from Brands Hatch on Saturday night, so just look out for the GSRC broadcast of the IDA series, also in the GT3s. Yeah,
definitely look up RRTV. They put on some great broadcasts, and of course, if you want to check out Race Spot as well, they're great. V8's online, well, the V8 action's always there, and tune into there. So you've got heaps of iRacing to look forward to, which is the way we like it. But anyway, folks, on behalf of Brenton O'Brien, I'd like to thank all of you for turning up. My name's Bernie Weemers, and we look forward to your company again Monday night if you can make it. If not, we'll see you the following week. So have a great Australia Day, and good night.